India-Russia friendship rattles Gulf countries. Cheap oil has changed the game. There was a time when India's oil tankers used to line up at the ports of Gulf countries. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, UAE, these were the names that fulfilled India's energy needs. But now, the picture has completely changed. Now, India's oil tankers are heading in a different direction. That direction is Russia. Yes, the same Russia that is considered an isolated nation by the Western world, but for India, it has become a reliable energy partner. And this very friendship has shaken 9 countries to the core. These 9 countries are none other than the Gulf nations from whom India has been buying oil for decades. Now that India has turned to Russia, it's a massive blow to the Gulf economies. And this blow is not limited to trade, it's also shaking up geopolitical equations. Today, we'll dive deep into this very topic. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. Now, let's get started without any delay. India-Russia oil partnership is now setting a new record. In May 2025, India imported 1.96 million barrels of oil per day from Russia. This is the highest figure in the last 10 months. And this isn't just a coincidence, it's part of India's well-planned energy policy. Getting oil from Russia at discounted prices at a time when global crude prices are soaring is nothing short of an economic masterstroke for India. Compared to global benchmarks like Brent crude, Russia's Urals crude is being supplied to India at a significant discount. And India is leaving no opportunity to capitalize on this. India is the 3rd largest oil importer in the world. Nearly 5.1 million barrels of oil are imported daily, which is then refined into petrol, diesel, and other fuels. To meet this massive demand, India has to be extremely cautious about its oil sourcing. Earlier, Gulf countries held the lion's share. But now, Russia has overtaken them all. Currently, Russia accounts for more than 38% of India's total oil supply, a huge leap from less than 2% in the past. This shift wasn't sudden, but a calculated decision taken as a result of global events and India's pragmatic strategy. Iraq now ranks 2nd, supplying India with about 1.2 million barrels of crude oil per day. Saudi Arabia holds the 3rd position, sending around 6,15,000 barrels daily. Next come the UAE and the United States, supplying 4,90,000 and 2,80,000 barrels per day respectively. These declining figures clearly indicate that India is now betting on countries offering greater flexibility and lower prices. That's why the concern for Gulf countries is no longer just economic, it's becoming strategic as well. India's oil partnership with Russia didn't start overnight. It began in 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine and Western countries imposed strict sanctions on Moscow. As Europe and the US distanced themselves from Russian oil, Russia was forced to find new markets. That's when India stepped in, a country that prioritizes its energy needs and makes decisions based on national interests rather than global pressure. India gave Russia exactly what it needed, a massive consumer and a commercially reliable partner. Sumit Ritolia, head of refining and modeling at KPLR, noted that India's current oil strategy highlights the country's intent to reduce dependence on traditional sources. The decision to import from Russia not only provides economic advantages but also positions India as an independent policymaker on the global stage. According to Ritolia, compared to Brent or Dubai grades, Russian Urals crude is not only cheaper but also better suited to India's logistics and refining systems. Now that India is consistently purchasing oil from Russia, the question arises, does this impact India's relations with Western countries? The answer is somewhat complex. The US has repeatedly urged India to avoid buying oil from Russia, But each time, India has firmly responded that national interest comes first. This stance reflects a new kind of diplomacy, where India operates based on its own priorities without aligning with any particular bloc. Western nations may find this approach uncomfortable, but they also understand that India is too significant to ignore. For Gulf countries, the situation has become highly challenging. For decades, India was their largest oil customer. Their economies heavily depended on oil exports to India. But now that India is turning to Russia, these countries are not only facing economic losses but also seeing a weakening of their strategic influence. Realigning India is no longer easy for them because the value and stability Russia is currently offering to India is something the Gulf nations are unable to match. India's energy policy is now based on diversification and value pragmatism, meaning India will buy oil from wherever it is cheaper and more reliable, whether that's Russia, Africa, or Latin America. This sends a strong message to Gulf countries: traditional relationships are no longer enough. They need to become competitive. Until they do, India will not backtrack on its strategy. India's strategy has not only strengthened its energy security but also positioned it as a decisive force on the global stage. India is no longer just a buyer of oil, it is becoming a trendsetter in the oil market. This strategy has compelled the 9 countries, which never imagined that India could turn away from them, to rethink their approach. And that's the essence of true diplomacy, where even friendship is shaped by economic pragmatism. The most interesting part of this entire story is that Russia, once just a minor player in India's oil market, has now become its largest supplier. This shift is not merely about numbers, it reflects trust, intelligence, and a well-thought-out strategy. While other parts of the world remain entangled in political pressures, India is walking its own path, one that it chooses based on its own interests without tilting to any side. So the next time you go to a petrol pump and find fuel prices a bit lower, remember, behind every drop of that fuel lies a powerful story of India and Russia's partnership, a story that's keeping Gulf countries up at night and establishing India as a winner in the global energy game.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources: news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.